Well, hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to Self-Publishing Insiders with Draft to Digital. And as always, we've got some amazing. This time we have a twofer. We have two amazing guests in the live stream. We're going to be talking about design, photography, probably a little bit of some weirdness here and there. I hear there's some German prison stuff. Is that right? No, that's incorrect. I made that up. But we're talking with Sasha and Jean from GNS Cover Design Studio. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hi, thanks for having us.
Everything's reversed here.
Yeah.
Okay. Hi,
everything
everybody.
is reversed.
Everything
is reversed. If everything was reversed, you'd be introducing me.
Sure. Everybody, this is Kevin.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome to Kevin's podcast.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate
You're a writer, right?
So before we get started, I want to remind everybody watching, if you're watching the show live, make sure that you are posting your questions in the comments for our guest, and it can be anything related to graphic design and video or motion design. Is it video or motion, or is it something different? Am I just butchering all that?
No, we offer book trailers. So in this market, it's book trailers.
Book trailers,
graphics, which are very short.
Oh.
They're very, very short.
Okay.
It's mostly for social media at this point. So it's like like Instagram, Facebook, different banners, even on Amazon, like wherever you can put like a social media banner going up. But
okay.
They just get more views, more attention.
Yeah. Branding.
Yeah. That's what I've always been told, and I've used motion in like Facebook ads and that sort of thing. But let's loop back. Let's back up a second, because I don't want to get too ahead of things. Let's introduce you guys and your company. Why don't you tell me a little bit about everything that GNS Studios does?
Okay, we're a branding company, so we've been doing cover design in the book market for quite a while.
Collectively
15, 20 years.
Yeah.
We're not counting, but we've been doing it quite a while. So we work with everybody, trade, pub, all kinds of individuals now, indie market. So when the indie market came up about for us, it was about 2017, it really got busy. Mm-hmm. And then we rebranded, we refocused, and we went after the indie market. Mm-hmm. So now we actually have the opportunity to do these much broader campaigns, really focus on the branding versus just cover art. And we love it. Yeah. We've just been broadening it.
We did find that COVID really propelled our business because we decided.
Really?
Yeah. Only in a completely different way, though. We decided to build a stock site, because you couldn't get into a studio to shoot anything. So just sitting on thousands of images, and we're like, let's make it so that we can still do, covers, but with our artwork, like our images. And it took off, and we were extremely busy. And the authors that we were working with already, we were able to continue to work with them and start new series with them, and build from like 3D. We did some 3D bodies. What is that? Daz stuff.
Blender.
Yeah. So we just had to keep it growing. Yeah. And then when we were able to get in the studio again, we just decided, you know what? It's really about branding. We have so many independent authors that need direction, like whether or not they're just starting out or they're seasoned, and maybe they're doing another series and they're just not really getting a push. So we just decided, like, we have a lot of information, we have a lot of knowledge, and we decided to share it. And we just kind of turned it more into branding.
We started the cover kits.
Full service cover kits. Yeah, we were. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We used COVID as sort of a testing ground for all these ambitions we had, because we were under the impression it was only going to last like 3 months. And so we said, hey, let's jump in.
That's what I was told. Yeah.
We had this list. And we're like, hey, we can do this, we can do that. And all of a sudden it kept going.
Let's try it. Let's see if this sticks.
Right. And then next thing you know, we're like, okay, it's not happening.
Stuck.
Right.
Yeah. So how much of the stuff that you guys were just throwing at the wall during COVID is still around today? Like, what stuck?
Everything but one. Everything but one thing, because we just don't have the time now to do the cover kits.
Yeah, we got busy.
Well, what is a cover kit? What is that? When you say that, what does that mean?
It was like teaching someone how to do what it is we do. And then I was like, that's probably not the best idea.
Oh,
Yeah, we gave it all away.
It was like
Here's
how
the
to make
style.
an epic sky.
Here's how to do it.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
breaking it down and how to do that. And at the time it was right. And we met a
fun.
lot of people,
It was really
obviously
rewarding.
only, online, but
yeah.
it was an interesting opportunity, I think.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. We I think we really enjoyed it, and we didn't have any idea how hard, like how much work it would be to prep it
Yeah.
and execute it. We also met a lot of talented people in it. We couldn't believe how much we got out of it. And
Yeah,
it
that was cool.
just
Right.
anytime you teach, it's just so rewarding. It's quite something. But then, of course, we got busy and we had to quiet that down until we could get the recorded packages just out and sell those individually.
Yeah.
So it's in the back of our minds again to get that going.
Yeah. But
yeah. I mean, do you find that, because what I found is, when you do those like tutorials and you're teaching people this stuff, it actually ends up being good marketing for yourself. Did you find that?
Yeah. I mean, it's
I think maybe for the stock site for them to purchase our images, and then after a while it was like, I don't know that we should sell these to other people who are making covers,
Making their own covers, right?
Yeah, we should rethink that. But really, it's really actually just sharing with the community. I think with the artist community, and having an opportunity to help someone else further their career. I mean, I think it's a good way to work.
And we're really obsessive photographers, and we believe in custom covers and custom packages, and we love going into, we wanted to share that kind of approach. And sometimes a lot of artists don't have the resources are accessible for those things. And so we thought, well, let's share it, let's teach it. And what we got out of it was unbelievable. I mean, there's so much talent out there, and the give back was incredible. And we met a lot of them at 20 Bucks Vegas, so they came there, and it went full circle.
Yeah. So we've 20 Books Vegas has been fantastic, and it's about being around like-minded people that want to share and create a network. And so we definitely wanted to be a part of that. And
yeah, it was good preparation for Vegas, actually.
Absolutely.
The cover kit kind of got us teaching, it got us speaking, and it just taught us, what we could deliver on a live in a live situation.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're one of the things that you've talked about, and I can't remember if we actually discussed this once the recording started, or if it was what we talked about before. But you're photographers. I think that's probably like your primary skill, right? You started as photographers.
Digital art is our primary. Yeah. Digital art's our primary, but we brought the camera into it in real heavily in 2013, 2014.
that was cheap.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't know, we just felt like
That's different.
prior.
Yeah.
It was just better. It just added more depth and a better dynamic and more control and so forth.
Prior to that, were you relying on a lot of like stock images and things like that?
You hired. We hired other photographers.
So you're still using photography, but you
always. That was always our approach, and so it was. But just something that when we decided to take it in ourselves, we just modeled what we saw everybody else doing in the professional studio area. Loved it.
Yeah.
Sasha's a photographer. She's got a great background in it, and hair and makeup, and so we're able to put this together very, very easily.
Right.
But our mainstay is digital art.
Okay.
Compositing.
I mean, we're phenomenal. We're very good photographers.
We're just kind of.
We don't market that solely. Alone.
Because I think some people, especially in the indie author world, I think some people feel like it's not accessible to pay for a photo shoot, and that's actually not the case. Because when let's say you have a series, right? You think, oh, I'm going to write this series, and it's anywhere from 3 to 6 books, and you really hope that it goes longer, right? Maybe 15, like who knows? You can't find a stock photo for all of those, right? You're using like bits and pieces of this one or the same person all the time. But if you pay for a photo shoot, that's your shoot. That's your character. And you can, when we shoot, we're going to give you like 500 photos, and you can use, and sometimes more. Obsessive. Me, I'm like, but you know, and then you have those images and you can use them for social media. You can use them for your website. You can, you know, maybe you're going to do like some world building and you're going to have a series that goes this way, another series that goes this way, but you might bring that character into it and you want them on that cover as well with a different series. You have the option because now you have all these images and you can make all these covers from that.
Yeah.
So it's really like anywhere from $15 to $2,000, but you end up with like 500 images plus 500
Or
plus.
more.
And that's
800.
is that just for the that's for the photo shoot itself, or is that, you know, the cover design and everything is worked into that?
That's the shoot.
No, that's the shoot. The shoot. So
Okay.
it's for photography, for makeup, for hair, for styling, for costumes, like even like historical romance. Like I can build giant wigs and we do big costumes and, you know, or if you're like a vampire, we do teeth. If you're an elf, I make ears, you know, like.
And it's you're also
Very
getting
cool.
the license. So you're getting the licensing too. You're
Yes.
getting the whole package.
Right.
And
You
it's
use it for
Yeah.
marketing.
yeah, I mean, to get some of those, you know, we find the authors love it because it actually gives them more to write.
Right.
We have a lot of authors actually write from what they see in the shoot.
Yeah.
We have this real thorough
Right.
creative brief process we go through.
Yes.
We hammer out a lot of ideas, and then they get the shoot based on the ideas we originally discussed, and they actually take those ideas much further after you see the shoot.
Yeah.
So it's this whole creative sort of process into the introduction of the branding, you know, we're trying to explore and nail down for them.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
from the feedback we've gotten from, I would say almost every author we've worked with who goes through that process, they say we invite them to be a part of it. So they can either join us on the shoot or they can get Skype or FaceTime or whatever, however they want to join us. They're there and they're like, oh my God, I'm getting all these ideas about the next book, and they're jotting down notes and stuff because they're meeting their character, you know?
I love it.
They're like, oh my God, that's Angelina right there. She's such a badass. But you know, she's
cool.
like she's a kick-ass. We'll say it again. Sorry, but she's so good. So they get all these ideas, and then if they're like, you know what, I think I want her to look a little bit more like this or whatever, they're able to take part in that, and it's a real creative process together with the authors, which I think is
how much actual collaboration? Well, let's start with this. How much collaboration do you guys want? Because, you know, authors, we like to control things. You know, we want to come in and say, I want this, this, and this. Like, how much collaboration can there actually be on a shoot like that?
we love that. We want that.
Yeah.
Because then guess what? It makes our job easier later.
Yeah.
Because if you say she has, you know, long brown flowing hair with a strip of red, but you don't tell us she's got a strip of red, then later on we have to add a strip of red where I could have just put a strip of red in her hair.
Yeah.
And, you know, so, or she carries, you know, a katana that has, you know, a black blade. Okay, great. We're going to put a katana in her hand and that's what she's going to use as her weapon. So we don't, like, if you didn't tell us that, then we've got her doing magic or, you know, doing something else. So we don't know that. She's not posing for that. But if we really try to get all that information out of the authors first by using the creative brief that Jean mentioned, because then when we sit down to do a cover, we're like, okay, book one, she's, you know, she's dragging the katana behind her, you know, and then we're like, oh, we got that shot right here. There we go. And then we just
and at least like your unique brand, you know, your unique ideas. The hardest part we have is getting these visual. Some authors are very visual, some are not. They're all very descriptive, but then they haven't actually put a visual to it. It's kind of interesting thing. So you know, in some cases, we're just trying to pull it all out of them because we know the uniqueness is there. We just have to get it out and get it onto a cover.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Now, what about so let's say that you don't necessarily want to feature a human figure on your cover. Like you mentioned Blender earlier. I mean, do you do that sort of design as well? Like, let's say, I will say this: when I first started, I started writing sci-fi, and there at the time, and maybe even now, there was only a limited number of like stock images of spaceships that were any good. Do you guys do stuff like that?
Sure.
Yeah. On 3D, we can build ships for, can we use names? We can use names, right?
Yeah.
So for Michael Enderley, we did Opus X, that entire series, and we had 3D, all kinds of awesome 3D stuff built.
Yeah.
Ships,
We did
cars.
everything.
The car Textuna became
Whole world.
a character, like, and it was amazing. And then we also made a motion graphic out of it, and then there was a video made out of it. But then later on, when he came to us and he said, you know, I'm going to do some sci-fi covers. Can we reuse that ship? Right.
Mhm.
And then go ahead.
Yeah.
And we were able to.
Yeah. Well, we can repurpose it because we
Right.
have, obviously we created it. It's a 3D model. So yeah, we can repurpose it many times.
For completely with just the ship.
Well, then we also made a video. So we had 3D assets already done for the video. So depending on, it can go in all kinds of different directions. That's why we're always trying to push everybody, build custom, think thoroughly about what you want.
Yeah.
In that case, we really went far with it.
Mm-hmm.
We've even got shots of the car docking into there's two vehicles or two sci-fi vehicles in that series. We had a car and a ship, and the car is docking into the ship. Yeah. I mean, you just have to you can have so much fun with some of these things.
And dragons.
And dragons. Love dragons.
The more dragons we can make.
Yes.
Dragons.
Weapons, you name it.
So let's talk a little bit about sort of the principles here. Like what is it that makes, in your opinion, in your professional opinions, what are the elements of a great cover?
Our name in the credit, right? No. What makes a great cover?
Well, I would say color. I would go with color. Okay. I would go with type.
Design.
Compositing. How do we keep going?
Yeah. The focus, the clarity.
Yeah.
Of the concept.
Dimension. Having dimension on the cover, not just a flat. Something flat is not great because it doesn't speak to you. It doesn't jump out at you. That's my opinion.
Right. Great branding.
Great branding. Like if you, as an author, your author name, I mean, it should follow through because that's branding. You got to brand yourself. That's huge. And I think a lot of people think they write a new series, they change that. But no, you want to jump from one to the next. And in our experience, and a lot of people just change it up. And it's like, why are you doing that? Someone's not going to know the difference. But if you go on, like, let's say Amazon, and they see a series that you've done, and then like it looks similar to the same name, like, oh, that must be the same person. You never know. It's very visual, right? They're going to click on that.
Yeah.
What else?
We use the term branding kind of broadly. Like when we say branding, we also mean how we're treating the art. Like we have slightly different approaches to how we create the art for each author. Yeah. So there's not a real overlap of any kind. Let's say they're, physically competing with each other on Amazon. We want both authors to stand out separately, even within that genre.
Right.
So we want to get the readers, but we want to make sure the reader understands that's a unique author, that's a unique series, that's a unique brand. And so the branding, in our definition is, how we're approaching the process in which we're going to create those covers for that particular author. And sometimes we go more saturated, and again, that's a point that the author might bring up. Sometimes they want it more muted. I mean, it could be any number of things.
Yeah, that's why saying what makes a great cover it's a difficult question. I would say, does it tell your story?
There you go. That is it.
Does it tell your story? Is it in your genre?
That's it. Does that cover? I love that.
Because that's what they see first. They don't see your work. They don't see your work. They don't know what you've written inside of there. So how do you get them to look inside?
Yes. And my method is I stand over them with a weapon.
Until
right. And
that's right. Remember that katana I mentioned?
Mm-hmm. Yes. All right. So you guys basically just answered Gregory's question, but I want to make sure he gets a little screen time here because he had asked if you could explain more about branding and how it relates to the writing of the books. Do you have any advice on how it relates to the writing? That's not really your bag, but you work with a lot of writers.
Last chapter of my book, and I'm curious if the pre-orders features or digital parts. What's it?
I mean, that would be. I mean, we typically.
I'm focusing mostly on the first half of his question.
Yeah,
More about branding and health.
Yeah.
I think pre-orders are important. I mean, we know that. We do believe in the pre-sale concept, so we like to, set up the campaign so we're meeting your pub dates. In other words, you should think about when you want this book out, and you should have 3 books. You should be prepared in advance so you can set these pre-order dates. Right. You know when you're going to launch because you want all the pre-orders, right? So when you go up for sale, you've got those, and those kind of bump you up on Amazon and give you a lot more attention, and you have a better first day.
We have heard from authors who we've met at 20 Books that as a new author, like, how many books do I have to have ready? We're not saying you have to have written like 3 or 4 or whatever, when in there, maybe they've only, have a story arc for 3. But you know what? You have a story arc, so you kind of know what's coming. So you should give your cover designer an idea already, because if you're saying that you have book 1 almost finished, well, I hope your cover's done, because when you're finished, you want to put that out. You want to start advertising that. You want to start letting people know, hey, something's coming your way. I don't know if that person is, an author, or if this is their first book. I mean, you have to. What we have found lately important is logos. So logos are really relevant, because you can carry that from one series to the next, but you can use that on your website. You can use that on your Facebook, like all this stuff. And then people recognize that when your book does come out. And right now, in an ocean of books on Amazon, you want to stand out. So if you have a logo that is following through on all your different books, because they're getting mixed up when it says like books you might like, well, guess what? They're going to say, oh, that's so-and-so's logo, so that must be from them. If your type doesn't match, like sometimes people read the name, sometimes they're looking at the logo. You want to catch them every which way. Is it your name?
Yeah.
Is it your style? Is it your logo? Because right now I can just click on there and let's say it's just a woman standing there with looking hot with like hair blowing and in the background. Well, you can scroll through a lot of that. What makes you stand out? What makes you different? You got to really find your brand.
But what book is it? Is it book 1, book 2, book 3?
That's right.
Where is it in the series?
He said.
So that's another thing we've
series title.
Yeah, series title. So that's something that some authors may know, but some may not know. But if you are starting out, a series is really a great strategic approach, because your readers love to read quickly. They love to read a lot. They like to know there's more than one book. And so that gets us back to the pre-order strategy. You should have the thought in mind that this is going to be a series, and you're going to have the next one out within 2 months or 3 months. It's a lot of work, but those strategies we've seen become very successful. So we were always make the logos. We focus on the series branding quite heavily, and we make sure they know that this is part of a package. Right. Buy the whole thing and buy the box set and get all into it, and
that breaks us off into box set.
Yeah.
Because then people know you have multiple books. And if you're not doing that and you have multiple books, you might want to consider that, because
they love to buy box sets.
They love to buy box sets. And then write a small novella. It could just be like someone's little short story. Like free, it's like it's layer upon layer upon layer to become successful.
Yeah, it's different. It's different, when you're an indie, because you're doing all the marketing strategy that maybe a major house would do for you. Yeah. Major house also has a different agenda. Their house, you're on your own, and so you got to have that frequency of hitting Amazon as often as possible to keep everything red hot and high up in the ranking. And so it's a job. It's a pretty intense job. So we meet, we work with our clients very, very closely. The collaboration is intense. They know we're available to them 7 days a week. Not necessarily, but okay. We're going to say 7 days. But we're available. We know there's a lot at stake. When they're partners, we're essentially partnering with them to see their success happen.
Yeah, we definitely do. Yeah. We let them know right away. Like social media package. Yeah. We have a social media package. You need to have artwork that's sized for Facebook, for Instagram, for Twitter, for A+ content on Amazon, like all these different things. We let them know that we don't just hand you a cover, bye-bye. You know, like, no, we want to make sure that you become successful. Because if you write another book, and you come back to us and we can make these great covers for you.
Yeah.
You know, and we're exploring it with you, you know, like making great, you know, extra art. Like a client of ours just was like, hey, I'm heading to, where was he going? Austin.
Austin. Oh, yeah. He's going to a trade show.
Yeah, but I don't remember where he was going. He was going somewhere.
Yeah.
He was going to a trade show and he said, I need like
table
runner. I need banners. Blah, blah, blah. We're like, okay, great.
Yeah,
you know,
we'll outfit
you gotta have that stuff.
Which also, you know, gets back to, you know, we, you know, and if they do, I mean, we've blown up our images, you know, 9 feet by 10 feet. So the better the quality kind of is, the better you can sort of reuse this stuff in so many different dynamic ways.
Yeah.
So we're pretty about, you know, good quality, thinking if it gets blown up, are you gonna be able to, you know, enjoy that image? And
you know what? Actually, that's a great point. That's a really great point, because sometimes people think like, I'm getting a deal on a cover, right? Okay, that's your cover. And then behind it is like, not a lot. Or like a building that's like this. And then you want to blow it up. You want to make a big banner. Well, what does it look like? What does it look like when you do that?
Yeah.
Sorry.
It makes our job, you know, we get back into the logos, like when we have to sort of think about someone's trade show and how they're going to market themselves with tables and banners, all these other things. It's nice that we've already considered the series title, the logos, you know, what they look like in a world, you know, not just a cover, because then we get to repurpose all that art, and it just works out really well.
Yes.
When we think like that.
Yeah. Now you guys do. You can actually do the entire design for these things, right? You like, if I wanted a cover and a banner and all that, you can package all that.
All of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Everything. Everything. Yeah.
Very good.
Including motion graphics.
Including motion graphics.
That so shabby now, right? You're like, maybe they should do my
teasers are nice to get people to go to landing pages and, you know, get their sales going. So we and hopefully we can meet any requirement.
There was something fun we also did, is it was like they were announcing it, but it was like a reveal. So it's like a cover reveal. So like, oh, the series is starting. And then like on their Instagram page, it was like a little bit of the book, and then a little bit of the book, and more of the book, until it was released. You know, fun stuff like that. You can just come up with like ideas. People want to see new stuff, you know?
That's funny. Yeah. And I've seen some of that. And actually, I mean, in looking through your site, like I've seen most of these covers out in the wild. You know, you guys design for like Lindsay Broker, for example. I see her stuff on Twitter all the time. So so you guys are getting some traction in the indie world. Do you primarily work with indies? You did some stuff with Dragon.
Well, we have there's so many. I mean, we have sort of leaned that direction. But we have you know, we work with Random House, HarperCollins.
We just finished Kevin Hearn's last his last one.
Kevin Hearn. I love Kevin.
He's sure is.
He's a funny guy.
Did you guys do the whole Iron Druid series? Was that you?
Yeah.
That was
that's one of the longest. That's the new series too. And that's probably the longest running series we have. Because that started in 09. 08, it might have come in.
Something like that.
That was before me.
Yeah, there's a lot of stories there. That's for another time. I
used to try imitating your style a little. Then I used to, you know, on some of my earlier covers, I was messing around. How do you do that? How do you figure that? So that was back when I didn't have money to pay anybody, so there was no chance you were going to get my business at that point, unfortunately. So that's great. You know, there is a question, and I do want to get an answer on this one, because I like this question. How often do you see trends on covers changing, and should authors redesign covers when those trends change?
We're doing it right now, actually.
Yeah, we are doing that.
Are you? Okay.
Right now. We actually have done that multiple times. And if anyone, raise your hand if you were at 20 Books Vegas last year. If you were there, we had a panel with, I think, 3 of the authors.
Yeah, 3 or 4.
Three. Well, we had 4 or 5 authors on there, but I think 3 of them, we actually redid an old series for them, redesigned it, and we're still designing it, and they're continuing to write. So they're adding to their long-standing series and extending onto it now. So let's see. Can we say their name?
Yeah.
Can we say her name?
Yeah. C. Murphy.
Okay. C. Murphy. We're shooting for her on Monday, and she got. Can we say all that stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. So, we got she got her rights back, and we're redoing the whole series for her, and she's really excited. And this is her time to have it be exactly what she wants it to be, like not what what the house wanted it to be, but what she wants it to look like, and what she wants it to, everything will be fresh and new, and she's going to relaunch this. Well, we're going to relaunch this for her. It's really exciting.
I have to tell you, the houses don't always hit the mark when it comes to covers. I sometimes I look at a cover that comes out and I'm like, where were you looking for comps for that design? It looks nothing like anything in the genre. It looks, it doesn't fit, How often have you seen that sort of thing happen?
Well, not so much what we've seen in that scene, but if we get it, if they call us, we're obsessed about talking to authors, but they're not huge fans of it. They don't like that. So it's almost gotten to the point where if we are working with a major house, they've already they know we got to talk to the author, and so a lot of our work has gone indie. I mean, as a result. But if you're not talking to the author, you're not going to get the straight answer.
That's right.
You're not.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
So I don't know that I personally haven't experienced that. Only when they forget to mention something and then they bring it to our attention. We're like, oh, well, yeah. So I think we've learned just to be really conscious of asking lots and lots and lots of questions. And that's why our cover brief is extensive. And then we look at it, we're like, nope, that's not enough. Send it back. And we ask for more so that we have that we don't make a mistake, that we are creating your character, whether your character is a ship, or whether your character is just a planet, or if it's a person, or if it's an animal. Do they have spirit animals? All of these things. What is their magic? What color is their magic? Wouldn't it suck if your character went out and then you're reading the story on the cover, they've got blue magic, but in the story, it's so significant that their magic is yellow and it comes from somewhere, and there's a reason it's from the sun. Or, you know what I mean? It's relevant.
Right.
It's really relevant.
Yeah, you mentioned Lindsay.
Those things are important.
You mentioned Lindsay Broker.
Lindsay.
Interesting little story. We I think this was 2 series ago.
With Jam?
Yeah. And in that creative process, we had thought of everything. We thought we had it nailed. And then at one point in the creative brief, we went back with another question, and all of a sudden all this new information started coming forward about magic, all the different creatures and animals and dragons and all the stuff that was going to be in the series. And we were like, oh, okay. So it's really peeling back and peeling back and peeling back if you can.
Yeah. Because then later on, if you give us all that information, then when we say, hey, so we're going to start this cover, what do you think? And she can say, well, Seattle and bad guys. And they're like, we got that. So we're looking at, book 7. Okay, we got that. Then we go back, we look back.
Got you covered.
Actually, a stormy night in Seattle and being chased.
Totally. I mean, it's just amazing.
At that point, it's keywords.
Yes. And then you end up with really great stuff for the photo shoot. And they have these really great dynamic colors.
Yeah.
So it gives us other ideas. And so we get to, build different types of compositions. So.
Yeah. I don't know that we fully answered the author before.
No.
She was asking trends and how often do we see those and stuff. I don't know.
Well, I mean, we are in the middle of one, like you said, we've done it a couple times. I mean, how often do we see it?
How old was that series? What?
I was old. That was
I mean, but
I was, good 15.
Like a pixie. Remember we were talking about the pixie?
Yeah, the
haircut,
pixie
and,
style
like,
haircut,
it's
right.
really not.
Right.
It's not really.
Yeah, that's
such a hot trend right now, but it was maybe then.
Mm-hmm. Right. In fact, the houses would follow trends. I don't know if the indies, the indies think more independently, or
we're trying to set the trends,
or we're living in an age where we're not all just jumping on board, with a look all at the same time. But sometimes you have to refresh them because that is no longer working. We're right in the middle of that question right now.
I would maybe lean towards, like, for example, if this author here has like a series that doesn't have a series, it's like an old one that doesn't have a series title. It doesn't say like book 1, book 2, book 3, and it doesn't have a logo. Like, maybe that's something to think about. If you don't really, maybe if it's not something you can do right now by redoing the covers, but you can add to them. Like, sometimes that might be an option, just to kind of make them look more more present, right?
Right.
Like, if that's the direction you have to take, that's not a bad direction, but it's actually, something to think about. Like, I would say, go ahead.
Go ahead. You're the guest.
Just like go on. Thank you. Go on to Amazon and look and see, like, top 20 books in your genre. Like, what do they look like? What are they doing?
Right.
Do they all have like a series title? Do they have a logo? Is there a common thread? And then go back and look at your stuff and say, like, maybe that's why I'm not getting any traction right now.
Right.
So I would say
that's advice I give authors pretty often, to go look at that grid on Amazon for your genre. And if you have a cover, shrink your cover down and overlay it on one of the books on that grid, and does it fit? Is it the right look? That's an important thing. Hey, I got I'm sorry, but I have to put this up. I'm sorry.
Better not be my mom.
I don't know what it is.
Steve Murphy says, "Hi guys, and happy birthday, Gene."
Hey.
It's Gene's birthday.
So, happy birthday. Now, okay, let's talk a little bit. Moving on from your birthday, Gene, if you don't mind. Let's talk a little bit about your onboarding process and everything. Like, what's the process? If an author comes to you, they've discovered you through the Draft to Digital podcast, what comes up first? What's the first step?
An email.
Well,
like, just connecting, just reach out to us and just say, give us some information. Like, are you like?
Well, usually, they might say, "Hey, I've got a series. It's like 7 books."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We like to hear that. Hey, I have a series. We're like, done.
Yeah, we'll say yes or no right there.
Here's my question. I have 70 books. What kind of discount do I get for bulk?
Pretty big.
All right.
We'll talk later.
Yeah, we'll talk later. So
okay.
Definitely shoot us an email. Introduce yourself. Tell us what your genre. If you are an author, an experienced author, how many series do you have out? Just give us a lot of information about yourself. I know some authors can't even imagine having to say that and talk about themselves. They don't want to, but it's just an email, and we'd love to meet you.
Yeah.
And then we'll take it from there, and we'll reach out. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And so once they're on board, can you walk us through a little bit of what they can expect?
Yeah, I think one of the differences we have on our site is it freaks a lot of people out. We don't have we don't have a lot of buy buttons, and we started to add them just to fit in with a lot of other people. But initially, we were really kind of quiet about that, kind of inviting you just to reach out to us first, have a discussion. So we're big on that. We're big on starting the conversation.
Everyone's needs are different. So we actually, once we have an email back and forth, we'll say, let's set up a time for a talk. So you can either, it can be by phone, we can Zoom, we can Skype, and we would like to get to know the author. If you don't want a camera, that's totally fine too. But a conversation just to figure out what it is that you're actually looking for, what you really need, and how we can help. And that's pretty much how we start. We're very like personal in that way. We don't just say like, I mean, listen, that some businesses do that and that's great and that works for them. That's just not how we work. Like, it's just a very different experience. Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead because I think we've had some people asking about where they find you. I'm gonna go ahead and put your website up here. I usually wait until the end, but people are just chomping at the bit.
Dude, okay, that's right. Give me information.
We had our costumes on because we had costumes, but
oh my God, we had a lot of costumes.
So just for the folks who are listening, So for the benefit of the folks who are listening to this podcast after the fact, the website is gscoverdesignstudio.com. So that's where you want to go. Alyssa has been kind enough to drop that link into the comments of the YouTube and Facebook video. So click and go get your cover going, man. These are I'm looking at the your cover design, the actual page of cover art right now, and it's all very cool, very impressive. I like and you guys definitely have a style. You definitely have a look, and it's a very popular look right now. So no one's going to be disappointed.
So we're trending.
Well, maybe
we're trending well.
We also,
that's right.
A lot of when we go to these different events and trade shows and things like that, they're like, "Oh, I love your work, but I write thrillers." I'm like, I love thrillers. Like, we absolutely do thrillers. We do.
Yeah.
Kevin writes thrillers.
Kevin, we know that you write thrillers.
I know.
Talk later. But it's not genre specific. Like, don't be afraid to contact us. You never know.
Last year we had YA author join us.
We had YA. We have a Christian author, Lisa Phillips. We're doing 2 different series for her. And I hope when she's ready for the next one, we're on board with that as well.
Hope you're ready, Lisa.
That's great.
We've met so many different people.
Paranormal, sci-fi, romance.
Historical romance.
We've had some epic projects in that area.
Yeah.
I mean, our busiest genre is paranormal and
fantasy, urban fantasy, historical,
urban fantasy.
Urban fantasy. Yeah, I could see it. Yeah, a lot of your designs seem to lean that way. Would you say that's a pretty popular genre right now?
Urban and paranormal.
It is very popular.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I would definitely, that's where I would go.
Yeah, a lot of people. Well, I don't know. To just pile on. I mean, I don't know whether it's because our portfolio sort of says that's what we do.
Yeah.
Less romance than I guess we do less romance.
Yeah, and I don't know why people are like, we love romance. Like, even on our site, you can see there's a lot of chests up there, so people can
a lot of chests.
I mean, not female chest, but like, sorry guys,
male chest.
Male chest. Like just a lot
male
of
chests.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have you guys do that photo shoot and Photoshop my head on a few of these male.
No problem.
That's for your cover.
That's for your covers. Yeah.
It's
a thriller.
That'll be my when I do my autobiography. You guys, I've been thinking about different cover styles. My thought was I would do an autobiography, but I would release it with like 6 different covers in different genres. So one can be a romance. We actually have a question. This is from Jim Asvito. He's actually one of our folks on staff, but he asks a pertinent question here. How much time should authors budget for cover creation?
From
when you want to publish, or like how much time?
What would you say is the right timeline? So I'm a writer. I'm going to finish my book soon. At what point should I be thinking about cover design?
Absolutely.
How long should it take?
Have it done before you publish.
Oh yeah.
Like about 2 months before.
Yeah.
About 2 months.
Yeah.
Because you want to start advertising.
Okay.
You want to start advertising.
Right.
Definitely. And get back to those pre-orders. Exactly.
Yeah, it's about pre-orders.
It's
exactly. Yeah.
Amount of time. Yeah.
But if it is a little bit more like, how much time should you give someone to create your cover? you know, once again, that happens in the conversation. Like, what are you looking for?
What is your turnaround? What's an average?
Well, it depends. If we have your photo shoot, we go in there and you're on like book, like RL King. We just finished book 34, and we did that one pretty quick. She knew exactly the shot she wanted. She gave us a very detailed. She's awesome in that way. She gives us to the tiniest detail what she's looking for, and we turn that around in like a week, less than a week. Right? Less than a week?
I think even less than that.
Less than, for sure, less than that. I mean, like 4 days. Like 4
we
days.
Cranked. I mean, we cranked that.
While working on, like, I'm over here, he's over there, I'm doing somebody else's. And we're like, you know.
I mean, it can go pretty quick.
Sometimes, and then sometimes it might take a little longer. Like sometimes it might be, sometimes a week.
You're looking at me.
Yeah. If we're using stock or if we're building like a 3D asset or something like that, that takes a little longer.
Yeah.
If we're looking at stock and we're like building and mapping, like, so Eric Knight. So we had to build and find black armor, and that gets into AI, but I don't honestly want to go there. But in that conversation, that's like a hot topic right now. You might have somebody next week.
We'll have to, we'll have to come back on. We'll chat about that. Well, okay. So speaking of hot topics and next week and that sort of thing, we're at time. But I've really enjoyed chatting with you guys. I always love talking about design and stuff. This is always a fun conversation, and definitely a need for authors. So you guys are out there you're doing God's work out there, guys, and we really appreciate it.
Email with questions. That's fine.
Well, I should give our email address.
That is well, our email is you might have it. I think Jane, I know you both have it, but we'll give it to you anyway. It's admin@gsstockphoto.com.
Yeah.
If that's not too long.
I don't have it, and
we'll make sure it's available. They've got it.
Alyssa or somebody, can you type that up? And then what is it?
It's on the site.
Alyssa, are you listening?
Yeah. But definitely feel free to ask questions. What happened?
Okay, it is on the site.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. And we have that URL for your website up again. That's gscoverdesignstudio.com. And they can find you and contact you there, right? Okay. Well, hey, thank you so much for being a part of the show. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
We enjoyed it.
You guys hang out. Don't go anywhere. Don't hang up because it's got to upload your audio. Yeah, don't hang up. Don't go away. I'm going to play. We have a real quick ad spot we got to play here right at the end. If I can locate it, it's disappeared on me. But you guys hang out and we'll chat real quick after the whole thing is done. Okay.
Awesome.
I say that, but I can't find. They've moved things on me. It has moved.
This is what we
Yeah, I know. Why would you do this to me? Oh, here we are. I found it. Okay. All right. You guys hang out. Everyone else, thank you for being part of the show and for joining us today. But make sure you also like, share, comment, and subscribe everywhere that you're watching this. That helps us out a lot. And be sure you'll bookmark d2dlive.com so that you get a countdown timer to each of these shows each and every week. And with that, here's a little word from our sponsor, if you will. Ebooks are great, but there's just something about having your words in print. Something you can hold in your hands, put on a shelf, sign for a reader. That's why we created D2D Print, a print-on-demand service that was built for you. We have free, beautiful templates to give your book a pro look, and we can even convert your ebook cover into a full wraparound cover for print. So many options for you and your books. And you can get started right now at draftedigital.com.